Good morning, everyone. It's Joker, and today we are back with not a slime video. So it's close to the end of the year, technically. We got a couple more days to go. But, so I watched this podcast called Trash Taste. Some of you probably are aware of it, with Joey and Gart and Connor. A whole bunch of YouTubers that live in Japan, and they have a podcast together for years now. But they were doing their end of the year 2024 three by threes, and it was just 9 things overall that they really enjoyed out of 2024. Just overall, it could be anything from books to movies to games to things they did, etc. So I was like, that sounds kind of cool. And in an effort to, expand your knowledge on what kind of human being I am, I figured I would do one as well. So today I'm just gonna put the 9 over here, the 3 by 3 up for you, and then I'll just talk about each individual one. And it could be a long video. I don't really know. Depends on how much I have to say about each topic, but also horrible at editing, so there may or may not be footage of this stuff. Like, some of this stuff I played early in the year, I didn't record any of it, so you might just have to listen to me talk and stare at me. But, with that said, let's go ahead and get this list put up, and we can begin. Okay, so here is my 3 by 3. 9 things that I really, really enjoyed that I either did or came out or something in 2024. So in no particular, there's no order to this. It's just things that I enjoyed. First off, Elden Ring. I'm not the most patient person, and rage bait games really are things that I tend to avoid. When I was a teenager, I had really, really bad game rage, and I just know that if I had played Elden Ring and I was like 15, man, there would be holes in the wall or something. If there was a disc, it would have been snapped. But now that I'm older, slightly more patient, maybe a little bit wiser, I actually attempted to play Elden Ring. I've played a few other like Souls-like games over the years, and with not much success. But you know what? I played through Elden Ring. I got the platinum trophy on it. I beat it 3 times, technically. The second and third time were pretty much rushes through for achievements, trophies, whatever you want to call them. But I beat Elden Ring. And you know what? I really enjoyed it. I put like 160-something hours into it. My character is like level 260-something. So it's like, we put some mileage into Elden Ring. And I played the DLC and I beat that too. Thankfully, since it's been out for a while, there are lots of guides and lots of videos to help me, because there's no way that I would consider myself a good Elden Ring player. I am a cheesy, cheap, run away and go bleed people kind of Elden Ring player. Whatever it takes to win, I will do. And I had to cheese Radahn with a giant friggin' shield and a pokey stick. So, did I beat it? Yeah. Was it what's the word? Was it satisfying? Yeah. Would people call me good? God, no. But hey, I enjoyed it. Also, coming from FromSoft is Armored Core 6: Fires of Rubicon. Now, I'm a pretty big mecha fan. I won't proclaim to have seen every single mecha, because I don't like the Universal Century timeline of Gundam, which I know makes me blasphemous heathen. But Armored Core is something I've been playing since PS2 days. Armored Core 3, Armored Core 2, Armored Core 4 Answer. I just got the model kit of the white glint. I just got the model kit of the white glint from Armored Core 4 Answer, so I will build that sometime in the next 7 months or something. I don't know. I still have to finish another Gundam model. But I like Armored Core. I like mechas. And so when Armored Core 6 was announced, because I didn't really like Armored Core 5 or Verdict Day, and I kind of thought that it was just going to die, they announced 6, and I was like, oh, I'm really excited. And then 6 came out, and I was like, oh, this is really good. But it is also kind of rage bait, because our Armored Core, the series, came out way before Dark Souls, Demon Souls, Bloodborne, all of that stuff. And so the games were hard more because of controls. And now that they have a patented kind of formula of making games difficult on purpose, now they have added that into Armored Core with big spectacle boss fights and very hard, very perfect timings and dodges and stuff. And I had to learn that too, which is kind of what got me on the path to Elden Ring, because I played Armored Core 6 before I played Elden Ring. So you can blame Armored Core for making me want to play Elden Ring. All right, to continue with my I Like Mecha, the sequel movie for Gundam Seed came out in like May in the States. And when I was at my work conference across the state for 3 days, it released the day that we drove there. So I drove my happy ass 8 hours to Eastern Washington, checked into the hotel, and then booked my ass to the local theater. And I watched Gundam Seed Freedom in theaters, in not my home theater. And you know what? I give it like a solid 6. Wasn't a big fan of the CG. Wasn't a really big fan of how they made the MC just a whiny little annoying thing. But the Gundams look good. The action was well choreographed and not a whole bunch of reused scenes, which is something that Gundam Seed, the series, cannot say. But I like Mecha. I like Gundam. Gundam Seed is one of my favorite series from the Gundam franchise. So I enjoyed that this year. And then moving down, Helldivers. Really fun game. I know it had that really bad fall off because of Sony's mishandling, but as a game, Helldivers 2 is really, really fun. Maybe I have a screenshot that I'll put up in the edits of just one time I was playing with my friend and what was going on, and there was so much shenanigans. I just recently re-downloaded it again so I could play with that friend, because I'd made room for other things along the way, and this came out months ago. But it's really hectic. It's really funny when you die. It's a whole butt ton of fun, and it doesn't take itself seriously at all. Like, it's just meant to be an overwhelming slaughterfest of guns and over patriotism, and it's really fun. But then Metaphor, ReFantazio, from the Persona studio, kind of Sega Atlas and all that. I had trouble picking whether I wanted to put Metaphor or if I wanted to put Persona 3 Reload on the list, because everything else I wanted on the list, definitely, but I was debating which one was I found more enjoyable, and I went with Metaphor. Whether that's recency bias, I don't really know. I don't really remember a whole lot that came out of Persona 3 Reload. I didn't... This also might be heresy, but I didn't enjoy the story as much as 5. That, I think, is a lot of bias right there, because I have put like 1,000 hours into Persona 5 as a franchise. And I had never played the old Persona 3 or FES or whatever, so could probably heavily biased. But Metaphor, I very much liked the storyline. I liked all the characters. I liked the atmosphere, the graphics. A lot of the combat was reminiscent of Persona, but with some things taken away and some things that are really helpful added in. And overall, it was a great experience. It wasn't as long as Persona 3 or Persona 5, unless you literally try and do everything, which I try and do. So I put like 100 hours into it, and I still need to go back and get my 100% run done. But Metaphor is a great turn-based JRPG set in a fantasy world that if you are in any way, shape, form interested in that kind of setting, really recommend you give that one a try. Also, I know that the camera is not great. I don't have like a DLSS camera. It's just an Elgato webcam. You're going to have to deal with how blurry I look. But moving on, Apothecary Diaries, one of my favorite series to air this year. Season 2 starts in like a week and a half or something. And it's something I really, really enjoyed. I really love Mao Mao as a character. I love her dynamic with Jinshi. I like the setting. I like everything about that show is great. And I'm intentionally not reading the manga because I want to see it animated. I'm kind of one of those kind of guys. We'll talk about manga in a bit. But I really, really enjoy that show. Also, I could have put Freerun up here. Sadly, I did not enjoy Slime Season 3 that much, which is weird coming from the guy who plays the Slime game like 23 hours a day. But, Season 3 just didn't do it for me. And I'm made to understand from light novel and manga readers that it could have been a lot better. So, yeah, it is what it is. But Apothecary Diaries, probably number one on the anime list for this year. Freerun is in there. Dawn to Dawn, as wild as it was, is also in there. There's a number, because, so many anime come out during the year that I can't remember every single one of them. But Apothecary Diaries really stuck with me. I now have a figure of Mao. You can't, well, maybe you can see her. Yeah, in the very top, there's her skirt. In the very top corner, I've got a Mao figure. So, really enjoy that. If you haven't watched it, again, really, really suggest that you do. But now moving down, it's a picture of me. And this is my I went for a friend's bachelor party to Las Vegas in the summer, and just to celebrate, him getting married and everything. But I had the opportunity to go to the Gordon Ramsay Hell's Kitchen restaurant, which I love listening to Gordon Ramsay berate people endlessly. It's very entertaining. And I've always wanted to go to one of his restaurants. I didn't really care where, but I don't think they have one up in Washington State, in Seattle area. So when I heard that we were going to Vegas, I was like, all right, well, there's at least one place I need to go, and it's a Ramsay restaurant. And so we made a special trip out to the Strip, because we were staying on Fremont Street. If you don't know what that is, it's like old Vegas. But we made a special trip out to the real Strip, and went to Gordon Ramsay Hell's Kitchen and had some of the best food I've ever had. I'll put pictures up during editing so you could see it. I had a 3-course menu, starting with pan-seared scallops, and then I got the beef Wellington, which is like a Gordon Ramsay staple, and then I ended with sticky toffee pudding, and I had a really, really good drink made with gin that I've attempted to replicate here at home, and it's okay. It's not the drink, but it's certainly passable. But alongside that trip, on the last day I was there, like 6:30 in the morning, and we were flying out at noon, I went down to the casino floor, and I was playing electronic craps. So if you don't know what craps is to begin with, if you ever see in movies where they're at a casino and they're blown on dice and then they huck it down the table, that's craps, is the dice game. I play that. I've been playing that since I was 21, and it doesn't treat me very well, but I like it. But we were playing an electronic version of that where you just poke a screen and you put your bets, and there's a clear tube that has dice that just pops the bottom up, and then it rolls the dice, and whatever it lands on, it lands on. Well, for $1, for this one bet that I made, I won $1,000. So that was awesome. So there were two good things that happened in Vegas. Is one, I got to eat Gordon Ramsay food, and I won $1,000 for a $1 bet. So that was quite excellent. All right, getting to the end. This is really, really recent, what I'm about to talk about next. But, backstory. During Thanksgiving, I went to my parents' house, as I do, and my dad's like, hey, I've been doing this competition air rifle stuff, which is kind of like what they do in the Olympics, where they're holding their guns at a weird angle like this, and they're shooting little tiny things. So he's like, I do that, but it's on a bench, and it's like stabilized, so the rifle just sits in between, and you shoot a target at like 50 feet away, 25 meters, maybe 20 meters, I guess, somewhere around there. I don't know conversions. I'm bad at math. You know this. But he's like, hey, do you want to give it a shot? And I was like, yeah, sure, why not? So I went over for a few sessions to practice, and it's pretty fun. It's very easy. It's just it's just like CO2 powered pellets that you just shoot. So it's not like a real gun. But he was like, hey, if you want to try, we can sign you up for a real competition match where you'll compete against other people. And I was like, sure, why not? I've only practiced 3 times because, my first session was the weekend of Thanksgiving, which was about a month ago. And then the match was this past Saturday, so 3 days ago, 4 days ago as of recording this. And you know what? I had a lot of fun. Why did I have a lot of fun? Because I got third. I did not expect to do that well. You can get a total score of 1,000, and you can get 100 bullseyes because you got to shoot. So this page right here that you're looking at with all these dots, that's 25 targets. You shoot 4 pages like that, so 100 targets total. So 1,000 score, 10 points each. So you can get 1,000 score and you can get 100 bullseyes, and that's like the perfect score. I shot a 995, and I got 62 bullseyes. And this is, again, like my first real competition match. It's my 4th time ever shooting that rifle. And you know, I did really, really well compared to what I thought I was going to do. Because I'm new, and all these people that are shooting next to me, they've been doing it for years and years, and they're old white guys. It's typical racism, yay! But so I did really well, and so I'm going to keep up with it. And so I'm very proud of my score and how much I did with so very little training. So I'll keep up with it. So it is a highlight because I've found a new hobby, and currently it doesn't really cost that much. If I have to buy my own air rifle, it's probably going to cost $1,000 or so. But, you know, I'd spend easily more than that in slime. And, yeah, it seems to be a nice time killer and something I can do. And brings me fun and happiness and joy. So we'll keep you updated on how my progress is with that. And then the final thing on this 3x3 is just manga in general. Because I normally don't read manga. Like, I've typically avoided reading manga. I used to read books when I was a kid. Like, I read Harry Potter. I read Clive Cussler fiction. I read other Star Wars books and such sorts like that. But I never really got into manga. And then when I resumed my anime journey later as an adult, I just consumed anime and I didn't read anything until one of the mods, you may have recognized her name, but she's like, you should read some stuff, and it could be fun because there's a lot of series that are not going to get sequels or ever really anything, but they have a whole lot of other stuff in manga format. So it's like, okay, we'll give it a try. And the reason I put Wotakoi here is because that is one of my most favorite rom-coms, and it's also the only physical manga that I've purchased, which is right here, actually. Oh, right here. So yeah, it kind of looks familiar to that picture, right? I just took that off Google, but I have the entire set. It's the only set that I have. Everything else is on my phone now because it's easier to read and it doesn't weigh a lot. But I've begun reading manga, and begun meaning like I have not deep dived into 10 million different series. Like, I'm not reading Slime, and I'm not reading Apothecary Diaries, I'm not reading all the other anime that I really enjoy. Taking it one at a time. Doing just some things that I want to read that are probably never going to get updated again. The reason why I don't read Slime or Apothecary Diaries is because I know more stuff is coming for that. But manga. I've begun reading manga. And again, the library for me is limited. So I don't need a whole butt ton of recommendations. I read like a chapter every 2 weeks or something when something comes out for like Cafe Terrace and its Goddesses or something like that. I don't have a lot of time for manga, but I have begun reading it. And I did spend quite a bit of time reading it earlier in the year. But that's the 3x3, guys. These are the 9 things that I found that really caused me happiness and joy in 2024. You could have put some slime stuff in here too, but I figured that'd be a little missing the point. I spent a lot of time doing this slime already. I don't need to put it on here. You guys know I enjoy the game, otherwise I wouldn't make so much friggin' content for it, right? So I figured it was a bit unnecessary. And by putting these things up, maybe you learn a little bit about me as a person and what I tend to do with my free time when I'm not recording videos for Slime and not working my real job and all that. So hey, if you also enjoyed some of these things that I talked about, let me know in the comments. If me talking about it turned you on to playing Metaphor or playing Armored Core or watching Gundam, I don't know, one of these things, then yeah, let me know. I'm always happy to introduce people to new things. I wish I wasn't so hard-headed, but that's how life is. And what are some things that you enjoyed out of 2024 that's not related to the game? That's life entertainment consumption wise. Let me know in the comments. But that's it from me. Take it easy, and I'll probably do this again next year to tell you everything that happened in 2025. See ya.